up, everybody? We're here to talk about the Fantastic Four First Steps, directed by Matt Shakman. And I just want to say, like, Marvel, for me, you did a good one here. This would be the fourth entry for the Fantastic Four. What meaning by, like, they had two in the 2000s and then one in the later 2000s with Michael B. Jordan. Yeah, that one wasn't so good. But this one was more like a 1960s futuristic style. And definitely director, you know, I feel like because he did WandaVision a while back where they were doing the flashbacks in that series, it definitely helped him out in this film. But let's get right into it. How did I feel about the film? I felt the film was great pacing, lasted about 1 hour and 55 minutes. I definitely didn't check the time. I definitely was engaged with everything. I love how the film kind of jumped right into it. You know, we didn't go super in depth into the background story of the Fantastic Four. Like, you know, they literally, you don't have to go into this film knowing about the 37 other films that Marvel has released. So, like, that was kind of great where, you know, I didn't have to go watch a Disney Plus show, even though I enjoy those shows, I'm gonna be honest. I think people are a little bit too critical on them. Maybe not better than some of the other projects they have from the past, but they're not as bad as people are saying. But this film specifically, you don't have to do none of the research. You just go in, watch it, and you'll enjoy it. And slowly but surely, you'll get immersed with the visuals, like the technology of it. So, like, there's teleportation, there's flying cars, but definitely, you know, everybody's wearing bowling shirts and things like that from the 60s. And it is a comic futuristic style, you know, what you would think 1960s, but they had upgraded technology. And I really enjoyed it. And as for the Fantastic Four, you kind of really get that family wholesome feel. But let's get into the acting. We had Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, and I really felt like he did a standout, amazing job. He didn't overact it. He made me feel going into it because this man is everywhere. You see him in almost every TV series, every film that comes out. Shoot, a film that I danced in, he was in. So shout out to him, but he definitely, like, embodied Reed Richards where you can take the character seriously. Definitely he let us know the weight that he was bearing, you know, with his ability of being an intellect without, you know, his superpower of, you know, being able to stretch and so many other things. But he definitely was letting you know in this film that it's not the best thing to be, you know, able to think about all the variables going on and to add that in with the human feel. And it worked for me. So I definitely want to see more of him as Reed Richards. Vanessa Kirby, yes. To me, she was the most powerful out of everybody in this film, and I enjoyed it. It wasn't overbearing. It wasn't like they were putting it in your face, like Sue is the strongest, yada yada yada. No, it was natural. She had like a motherly moment that, you know, like, you know, in this moment you're gonna go and try your hardest. And Vanessa Kirby most definitely, like, gave a phenomenal performance. Especially there's a scene where she's in space and you'll see it, and it could have easily taken you out of the film if she couldn't act the way she did. So shout out to her. Joseph Quinn, always, like, enjoyed you since I seen you in Stranger Things. Also, I believe you were in The Quiet Place, the prequel to the first one. Amazing actor. I believe you were also in Get Out. If I'm remembering correctly, you were the brother in that one to the main antagonist, which was the girl, or one of the main antagonists, which was, you know, the girl that brought her to the house and Get Out. But yes, I really enjoyed your character. I know from previous renditions of the Human Torch, he's like a womanizer and he's not the most mindful. But this one kind of showed that the Human Torch is not only, you know, just, you know, how could I say it? Human Torch to me is kind of the person who's trying to be in the spotlight all the time, but this one shows he's also intellectual. He also adds to the team other than just being a hothead. So Joseph Quinn, it was believable and it wasn't overbearing. And then Mr. Moss, the thing, I'm not fully remembering your name. He kind of, I'm not gonna say I enjoyed more of the 2000s rendition of the thing because, you know, he was a little bit more emotional. and the 2000s where, you know, everybody else had cool powers and you're like a rock monster. So how does that leave you, you know, trying to have a normal life, trying to have a relationship with somebody else? There definitely were limitations there. But this one, he felt a little bit more like he was content with it. You know, he has a love interest, a slight love interest in the film. He was funny, loved to cook. But like I said, I enjoyed his character. He felt human more than a rock creature. And then there was Paul Hasser, the Mole Man. Funny every time he was on film. Definitely love his banter back and forth with, you know, Reed Richards, Pedro Pascal. Easily could have just been like, what? But it was enjoyable. And as a whole, I felt the film, like, you know, it had more of a wholesome family, like, tight feel when you think of, like, superhero groups. Like, so in contrast to seeing the Avengers are, like, young, hip, crazy, like, the Fantastic Four is more like how you would see, like, okay, this is the first superhero group in the 60s. So you would kind of understand they're not going to be doing the most craziest of things as in personalities. But it worked. It wasn't overbearing. And I also liked, like, you know, the serious tone to this one. I feel like in previous Marvel films, I do like the comedy, but the comedy was starting to get too much, especially in, what was it, Thor, Love and Thunder. That was like, I enjoyed it for what it was, but the comedy was like a little bit too much. They kind of like downplayed how, you know, powerful Thor was, being a Thor fan. So let's get right into it. Now that I've, you know, talked about, you know, the main cast. Oh, let me not forget Silver Surfer. The actor that played that, she did a phenomenal job. She left me wanting more to, like, understand, like, you know, her backstory. They did go, like, to how she became the herald for Galactus. And Galactus, yes, phenomenal job, the actor who voiced it. You didn't feel like, it didn't take you out seeing Galactus. Of course, you know, seeing it was more comic book accurate, but it wasn't like his voice, his tone, it wasn't too much. It was just the right mix of everything to where it was still enjoyable. But, you know, this is definitely a comic book movie, how they approached it. But with that being said, the visuals were great. There was a chase scene where there was a black hole, spoiler, involved. And it was one of the best, like, chase scenes in the Marvel films, period. And I'm going to go back and watch the film strictly just to go see that, because I loved it so much. And just speaking on that just kind of left me, like, wanting more. I want to know more about Silver Surfer. I want to know, okay, how do you, like, if, you know, Reed Richards and them have been going to space, how do you not know about Galactus and, you know, planets coming up missing? Just little things like that. But overall, really enjoyable. But let's get to it. What do I give the film 1 out of 10? I would give this film, personally, 8.5. I went in not really expecting much, you know, like had previous knowledge from watching the cartoons and seeing the 2000s films and enjoying it for what it was. But I was like, oh, you know, after seeing the last Fantastic Four film, and I would say the 2010s, yeah, I wasn't expecting much. But after watching it, 8 out of 5. Action was good. They had emotional moments. They let the emotional moments sit without, you know, having a quick joke come in to ruin it. The stakes were very high because I feel like Marvel, 37 films, a ton of superheroes. The stakes have to kind of get higher because there's so many superheroes who actually can handle this. And it being in its, you know, own little bubble with this film and the way they did it, it was great. All right, film was an 8.5 for me, but let me know what you think. Let me know if you liked the film. Let me know what you disliked about it. Let me know if you thought the action scenes were good or if it needed more. Let me know in the comments. Also, if there's a film you would love for me to review or just talk about, let me know. We'll do that later. I'll see you guys next time.